One time whilst traveling, I had the good fortune of meeting two people who changed my life permanently. Ever since that week, I've been trying to apply the two lessons that those two people taught me, both attempting to being able to properly execute on whatever plan that I have in a manageable, compact way, and on the other hand, rather than focusing on the glitz and glamour, managing to find somewhere where I can truly be happy, where I understand who I am as a person, and then building a lifestyle around it. This becomes a far more manageable goal than trying to become the great billionaire, the great writer, the great this, the great that. I will tell you their stories in the hopes that it'll also change yours for the better. Often whilst traveling, you will meet the strangest people. People who often live life on their own terms. And they do this because they've kind of managed to separate themselves from traditional society, the traditional 9 to 5, and they manage to find their own niche. They manage to find a place in the world where they're happy, where they can be themselves. At the time, this was my first ever journey. It was in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. I was interested in seeing the Maya ruins and seeing the cenotes, which are essentially tunnels that were created when the meteorite fell that killed the dinosaurs. There's this town called Tulum, where there's these beautiful ruins by the sea. And then there's these cenotes, which look like the abyss where the devil lives, but you can go scuba diving there and it's beautiful. I kept hearing about this hostel whilst I was traveling around. I kept hearing about this place that was supposedly astounding. And the place seemed like an absolute shithole, to put it mildly. It had horrible reviews. But people kept saying, oh, yeah, ignore that. Only the right people can ignore that. And I kind of felt like they were trying to trick me into doing something stupid, but I kept hearing it on such a consistent basis over the next few weeks that I should go to this one particular shithole hostel that I kind of just decided, hey, let's give it a go. And to be fair, it was an absolute shithole. The paint on the walls was getting scraped off the walls. There were certain areas of the hostel that smelled rank. Where it said breakfast included, they basically just handed you an egg and told you to figure it out for yourself. Overall, it wasn't a pleasant experience where facilities were concerned, but true to their word, it attracted the right kind of people. You had your circus performers, you had your military people, you had people who clearly were running away from the law or something. Overall, it was a fun place to be. The owner was no less colorful. I don't think I saw him wear a shirt a single time whilst I was staying there. He would usually be hanging around in his hammock, playing solitaire, enjoying the sunshine. He just seemed very chill with life. I kind of asked him, like, how the hell do you get anything done? Or, like, how do you keep this place running without going up in flames if you're there playing solitaire the whole afternoon? And he just sort of calmly looked at me and said, well, the thing is, I have a single thing that I do every single day. After I do that single task that I've given to myself, that's the rest of the day. It sounds silly, but it kind of makes a twisted bit of sense. And this way, he actually gets things accomplished. Whereas if we have 50 things on our to-do list, we do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that, but we never actually get anything done. Whereas if you focus with laser focus on something, you actually end up doing it. You actually end up finishing the task at hand. It kind of shifted my mindset in regards to how I approached tasks. Instead of wanting to do this, that, and the other. I just focus on one thing. I give myself one thing that I should do whenever I have a task to be done, or whenever I have multiple tasks to be done. And then I give myself rest. But during the process of doing it, it's laser focus. It's actually focusing on the thing at hand. The second person that I met, it was a strange fellow, actually lived in the jungle. He lived in the jungle, but every so often he would venture on into the hostel. He would talk to the travelers and usually try to score with one of the girls. Sometimes he was lucky, more often than not. Very interesting guy. And one day he actually invited me to go kayaking with him in the jungle. Now, if this sounds like a recipe to be killed and be left for dead, yeah, it does, but the thing is, he was befriended with the owner, and he does these tours on a weekly basis, so I'm like, why not? So I went into his van. We started driving this bumpy dirt road heading into the jungle. And after like 30-40 minutes, he comes out and I see what amounted to a mansion. And I was like, holy hell, he lives in style. And he sort of laughed and said, no, the one adjacent. And it was this horrible looking shack, but by the beach. And besides the beach, you had the jungle. So it created this weird sort of contrast with the beach, the mansion, and the jungle besides. Why the fuck is there a mansion besides your shack here in the jungle? And he said, well, the thing is, Mexican government blocked off development in this jungle. Thus, the people who already lived here could buy, sell, build, do whatever. But no new land could be developed. And as a consequence, suddenly, the people who already had houses there became instant millionaires because the uber rich people were fascinated by having such an exclusive land. So the average person who used to have a shack in the jungle were like him, like people of no great means. But ever since it became exclusive to have an area like that in the jungle, people started buying them off and building mansions on them. Now, see, the thing is, this man essentially lived on top of a fortune. He literally lived on a gold mine. I asked him, like, why don't you sell your hut here? I mean, you could make a fortune. And he said, well, let's go paddling for a while, and I think you'll understand. We took this kayak and put it on the water of a nearby lagoon that there was, and we started paddling. After paddling around for several hours, come back to see the sunset, and he said, here I have everything I need. If I were to sell this property that I have here, I'd search for a place where I could enjoy the sun, a place where I could paddle around, a place where I could just be myself. There is no purpose in seeking something that I already have. And honestly, I considered that brilliant. I think one needs to find some area, some place where you can truly be yourself and find a means of funding that little community, that little project that you have. And once you achieve that freedom, once you can be liberated from that, that's it. You don't need anything else. I see what I want to do and then find a means to get it. Now, I'm still relatively young. I'm 25. And I'm hoping that by the time that I'm 30, I can leverage both the content producing side and my writing career to create an environment where I can live life on my own terms, where I can actually focus on my own goals and ambitions, where I can exercise my creativity, my artistic skills. It's a bit of a pipe dream, but I'm having fun trying to accomplish it without having to kowtow to random third parties just because they happen to pay my paycheck. I want freedom beyond anything else. And I think that is the way to accomplish it. Rather than throwing money at the problem, understanding one's priorities. Once you understand your goal, you can build to it. You can understand the direction that you're going in. You can skip certain steps that aren't conducive to your own development. That is why those two people were important in my development as a person. Thank you.